This is the ATI Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the ATI Podcast. We've got Barrett here. We've got Josh here. How you doing, Josh?
Doing good, doing good. Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
Oh, yeah, had a great one.
Good.
And we're coming in strong for episode 99. We're going to be talking with Inner City Witches this week from St. Louis, a band that we met at the punk rock flea market.
Yeah, great dudes.
Real nice guys, and, we kind of hit it off with them and said that, we'll circle back to you guys at some point, get you on the show, and this is that time, and this is now.
Yeah, I've also been seeing that they've been getting some shows and playing in St. Louis, and I've been listening to them, and they fucking just rock, man. Yeah. I've really enjoyed them a lot.
We've dropped their name a couple times here in the last couple episodes as well, talking about how much we actually genuinely enjoy their music, so that tonight's going to be a real treat.
Yeah, I really can't wait to discuss their newest album. I listened to that on the way over tonight, and yeah, it's just there's so much to unpack there, and they're doing a lot of really good things. So
yeah, I agree, and it's nice to hear something different.
Right,
something that I think we're always looking for, different in the sense comparatively to like what everybody else in the scene's playing right now. So
exactly.
These guys are doing their own thing, and I am all about it. And I believe that once we'll find out today, some of those inspirations are things that I was fond of in my early years as a fan of music as well.
Yeah, there's one specific one I want to ask about. So yeah, I look forward to just picking their brains on some inspiration. So
before we get there and have that conversation, we're going to kind of just go back to the way we used to do things, and seems like some time talk a little current events and a few different things that are going on, particularly that impact St. Louis. And let's talk about them Cardinals, Josh. We haven't had nothing to talk about in a while.
Front office making some moves, dude.
Some signings, man.
Yeah, making some moves. Trying to be competitive. I just seen earlier while I was sitting at home, I was having a little smoke before I come over, and I seen that Yadier Molina finally spilled the beans, and that he confirmed that it does have a new role in leadership with the Cardinals. He said he's going to be a special advisor.
Correct.
He hasn't really said specifically.
He didn't want to take on a full-time managerial role right now because of family obligations still yet.
Well, yeah, his boy's up and coming in baseball right now, and he's a tank. He's awesome. Not only that, wasn't he managing other clubs? I think 2 other clubs in South America or something like that. So, yeah, Yachty's busy, I guess.
Yeah, and he was involved with the basketball league there as well. So, and coaching that, I believe.
Or something like that.
On top of owning the team. Yeah, just like wearing multiple hats.
I do think it is very apparent, though, that the Cardinals are very lost without Yadier Molina in the scheme.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. And I think that, the best thing the Cardinals can do is reinvest and, bring in people like a Yachty to help build up that fan faith and, that confidence in the club itself, too. A lot of pitchers were kind of down. That was some of the issues with people like Jack Flaherty and those folks that were on the team who were talking shit behind Wilson Contreras' back, saying he was no Yachty, But then people like Helsley came to his defense like, listen, there isn't another Yachty.
Right.
This is Wilson Contreras, and he's good too. Yeah. And we need to get used to it.
Right. Yeah, Yachty's not going to be there forever,
Yeah, and obviously he wasn't, and, we had many great years with him. We were fortunate to have him, one of the best catchers of all time. A lot of people look at people like Johnny Bench. Johnny Bench called Yadier Molina the greatest catcher of all time.
Right, yeah.
So,
that's great to say.
Take that for what it's worth.
Right.
Game recognized game.
Buster Posey. He's in that conversation for one of the greater catchers of our time.
Even. Yeah, definitely.
But he did nothing but nod his cap to, or tip his cap to Yadier Molina his entire career. So that tells you something too.
Yeah, absolutely. Other cool things happening on the Cardinals, the starting pitching. We're bringing back Lance Lynn. I missed him,
baby.
And he's had some good years with the White Sox.
You will not find a more intense pitcher in baseball right now
for
than
sure.
Lance Lynn.
He's up there MFing constantly.
Oh, yeah. He's an intimidator, man. He's like the Dale Earnhardt of baseball, dude. Fuck yous and suck on that, and, he's great.
Well, funny I feel like we should segue into this now, though. because you're mentioning that, and that's Sonny Gray in his press conference that he had. And he was talking about, hey, he's a competitive pitcher, and he's not out there to be your friend, and he ain't smiling, and he ain't having a good time.
Right.
He's out there to compete, and he's going to be bringing an edge to his starts. And,
right.
Sonny Gray is a guy that, back whenever we got Montgomery, Sonny Gray was up on the trade block at that time, too. Rumors were we were trying to get Sonny Gray back then.
Right.
And, so this has been something that's been long on the works as far as I'm concerned. So having him on the actual club, he's, as far as his mentality, his demeanor, he's kind of like a Chris Carpenter, a modern Chris Carpenter.
Very edgy almost.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to having that type of personality on our team because I think it's needed.
Yeah, I do too.
There's a lot of good guys on our team, but, that's kind of, you need those gamer types, those people with the hard edge, to kind of set yourself apart from the pack. And I'm really looking forward to see what Sonny Gray is going to do.
And I really think that's the issue with the management, too, of the Cardinals, is there hasn't been a skipper like La Russa since La Russa left.
Sure.
All the skippers want to be everybody's friends and buddies and try to coach them through things. La Russa wasn't a skipper like that. La Russa's like either put up or shut up kind of guy. You know what I mean? He was a balls to the wall tough guy. So the Cardinals haven't had that in a long time either. But yeah, Sonny, I think bringing that element back into the clubhouse is going to be a positive thing. I think you're very correct on that.
And we also got the pitcher, Kyle Gibson, from, he was on Baltimore most recently. An innings eater, but certainly not an ace at any point. That was the one that was like kind of most like lackluster, in my opinion.
How old is he? Do you remember?
I believe he's no younger than 36. He might be 38.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's in the same ballpark as Lance Lynn age-wise, and that was kind of a part of the criticisms also with these signings. But, as far as innings pitched, like just between Gibson and Lynn, they actually ate up more innings than 3 or 4 of our previous starters last year altogether. So they will do that. They will give you quality starts. They will make you competitive. But the problem we had last year is, like in several occasions, is we did not provide run support when needed.
Right.
We certainly had the talent, as you could see the year previous.
Right.
We were one of the better offensive clubs. So I just think it was an off year, and obviously we had a lot of injuries and just a lot of various things were plaguing us.
Yeah, and a lot of new things too. There was a lot of new things that the Cardinals are going to have to figure out.
Contreras had as equally as good of a second half in baseball as anybody. If you can get him hitting on all cylinders, Arenado had an off year for him. Goldschmidt had an off year for him after coming off an MVP season. There's just a lot of things that are going to be going in the other direction. We got, new young people that'll be here for the entirety of the season, barring any type of like injury or anything like that.
I don't think you have nothing to worry with Arenado.
Win.
I think that dude is just a gold star player. He's going to do nothing but produce for us.
We ain't done yet, though, too.
Yeah.
They're talking about shopping a few folks, maybe two of our outfielders, rumors around Carlson and O'Neill specifically. Maybe get another starting pitcher. Who knows what the case is? Because we got like a logjam in the outfield as far as prospect. We are deep in the organization with outfielders, so I don't know that it's something that we should be addressing right now. Maybe a trade deadline thing. If we're not doing good enough, maybe address that at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
But outside of that, a lot of like positive things to be looking forward to, and apparently, the Cardinals are in on a few pitcher sweepstakes, and they're looking to carry some of this momentum into the winter meetings, I believe, and that just starts here, I believe, next week as well. So it's
crazy, man. I mean, what do you think? Was it end of February pitchers and catchers report? So
yeah,
I mean, baseball's right around the corner, guys.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, the Cardinals, of course, always got our eyes set on the Cardinals. So I actually had the opportunity to do a guest spot on It's Just Two Movies, and things kind of came together at the last minute. I don't know that we've talked about it here on the show yet, but Danny King, It's Just Two Movies, you guys have heard him on our programming previously. He's been on 3 different episodes as a panelist, and we've kind of talked about his work that he does over there at It's Just Two Movies.
Hilarious stuff. I love it.
So we talked about what they do over there at It's Just Two Movies, and that is review one what you think's going to be a good movie and one what you think's going to be a bad movie. So like something better on the critical acclaim and maybe something on the lower end. Usually the two films have a commonality, some sort of commonality. They can always tie the two together. And usually the bad movies make for good content. You can kind of sit around and shit on them or whatever the case is.
Oh, yeah. Especially, we did that with, they're not, I don't know. Would you say that what we chose for Halloween was shitty movies? I don't think they're shitty movies, but you know what I mean? They're,
There's some certainly that aren't of critical acclaim.
Right. Yeah. Kind of got like a cult following,
Sure. So I had the opportunity, first-time guests get to pick the movies, and I picked 2 movies. And those movies will be, and I'll reveal those now, is Talk to Me, that came out this year. Horror film.
I want to see really bad.
And Booty Call.
Booty Call.
From the 90s, 1997,
shit.
starring Jamie Foxx and Tommy Davidson. So that will be a fun episode. I had a great time hanging out with Danny. Thanks, Danny, again, for your hospitality. I'm not going to talk any more about the episode other than, I think you guys are going to be in for a good time. So whenever that releases, we're expecting that here in the next couple of weeks.
Hell yeah.
We'll be sharing that on our channels. So looking forward to everybody being able to hear that. Also, we'll kind of talk about some cool and exciting things in the works for the show. Yeah. So we're able to disclose now that we've been working really hard on season 3 and the guests that we're going to have on season 3. Coming back to the program to open up a season for us once again is See You Next Tuesday.
Hell yeah.
See You Next Tuesday is going to be opening season 3 for us.
And I am not missing this one. I will be there for this one.
These fellas are awesome. And, if you've heard that episode, you understand why we love them so much. It's because they are just tied to so much like nostalgia and friend hangs and partying and bands that we were in or music we were trying to play at the time or whatever. These guys just like intertwine in with all of that very well, and they're very close to our ages as well too. So getting to meet them last season, such cool people. Drew in particular, a guy is like your original member, been in the band this whole time. He, primary songwriter, he is like even cooler to know him and so friendly and very interactive with his fans and stuff. So it's just really cool to see like good guys coming back in the game. Yeah. Working hard. Already got another full-length album just a year later to be putting out. And of course they're on Good Fight Music, which is the Ferret people from back in the day. So they're going to start us off. And then right after that, super excited about this, Squint.
Fuck yeah.
It's going to be on the podcast, hoping to get things kicked off.
That's been in heavy rotation for me lately.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we love
I look
Squint,
forward to
for sure.
speaking with those guys. Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah, and I, again, St. Louis folks, and they are on the Sunday Drive Records label. So, these guys are getting all kinds of attention nationally. They've played a lot of like festivals and stuff. So looking forward to talking to them about all that. And then we've got some other people coming down the pipeline. So we've got Nerver from Kansas City. They're on the Flesner label. They're on the same label as Chat Pile. In fact, I saw them open for Chat Pile. And
yeah, I was going to say, you seen them, didn't you?
Yeah, at Off-Broadway. And these fucking guys damn near stole the show.
Damn.
I mean, people were there to see Chat Pile, but they
brought it,
put their stamp on it. They were
nice.
great. They were great. I was thoroughly impressed. I had been talked to about them on a couple of different occasions. The Drums Dreams guys were pretty big fans of them, and they highly recommended them on their episode. And I was just like, you know what? Nowadays, everything's so accessible. You don't get like nice surprises anymore. I'm not going to check out any of the opening bands before I go, and I just want to be surprised. I don't want to come in with like preconceived notions and just biased and just open myself up to the experience.
Yeah.
And they killed it. There was only 3 bands on the bill. They were the second band to play that night, and they again, I can't speak highly enough of the music that they're playing. They did a split with Chad Piles out there as well. It came out this year. One of my favorite splits that came out this year, with a ton of splits that came out this year. So that's really saying something too. So looking forward to talking to those guys and kind of keeping the love in Missouri as well. The Kansas City band.
Show me some love, baby.
So we've got Maul. These fellas are doing big things. They are on $20 spin right now. And these guys just got signed here within the last year. And they had arguably one of the most like game-changing, earth-shaking albums come out last year. They're actually going to be playing in St. Louis in December. So I'm going to meet these guys, but they're going to be on the podcast after February of next year. And so I'll get to meet them in person ahead of time, which is kind of a nice difference and actually see them play. They're going to be playing the Platypus on December 15th. So I encourage folks to go down there and check these guys out. Maul. They're one of the biggest, earth rattlers in the game right now. And I again, one of my favorite, newer heavy bands. I'd probably put them in the top 5.
Damn.
These guys are really just killing it. And I cannot encourage you enough to check out their music. And I believe that we will be able to get to know them a little bit better, and people may enjoy their music a little bit more so, having getting to know them personally. One of the guys in the band does some professional wrestling.
Oh, shit.
So I believe, in fact, he may be the one that's going to be on the interview. So I'm really looking forward to that aspect of things if I get to ask him about it.
Oh, yeah.
He's a pretty interesting follow on Twitter. Deddy Guerrero is his handle. So it's like a play off of Eddie Guerrero. So very cool. And so looking forward to that. This guy's been like pretty timely with their communication back and forth and very kind in our exchanges and everything. So I think it's going to be a great conversation. We've got a few other things in the works, but in particular, we have a soft agreement in place for Julie Christmas to come on the podcast of just so many incredible acts of the past. We can talk about Made Out of Babies. We can talk about her work with Cult of Luna. We can talk about Battle of Mice. We can talk about her solo work. Julie Christmas is one of the biggest game changers in all of music, and particularly for women. She's a pioneer, and it's particularly women of the heavy genre. You would be hard-pressed to find anybody who doesn't know the name in the last 25 years, doesn't appreciate her impact on the business, on the scene, on the art. Julie Christmas is one of my favorite musicians ever, and it's like really surreal that we're
and you know what,
having these type of conversations.
Right, and I love that how more accepting the scene is of women nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
I love to see these women front men who are getting praise and love, or front women, I should say.
Yeah.
They're getting the praise and love. It's just cool to see, you know what I mean? Because 10, 15 years ago, it may not have been the same conversation.
No,
in the
not
scene,
really.
You know what I mean?
There was
Which is
some
a
out
shame.
there, but it's not. It's certainly not as predominant as it is nowadays.
Right.
There's even bands. There's bands like the Donnas and Kitty in the past or whatever, but
right.
there's actually
specifically
bands
like
that
in
are
like the
predominantly
heavy.
heavy and predominantly female led.
Yeah.
And some of them are my favorite bands, period, right now.
Man. Some of them right now are killing me.
So many of the bands that we've already talked about, but, I think that a lot of those, to circle this conversation back around, a lot of those women look up to a Julie Christmas. So,
right, yeah, so it'll be cool to...
I will be really kind of curious to know if she knows, like, her importance and her impact on every musician, but, in fact, women of today as well.
Right.
Because I feel like people like her, like, they just, I don't know, I'm not they don't take for granted, but they probably just don't hear it enough as they should. We got to give people their flowers while they're still here, right? And that's a lot of, like, what this show is. And we will always try to do our best to give people the flowers that are due. The only other person for sure that we got locked down for the first few episodes that I wanted to mention too, of course, we've been talking about him. Rusty Leonard's finally coming to the podcast.
Fuck yes.
Old friend of the show.
That's about time, Rusty.
Old musician from the Mineral area, if you will, and had a big impact here with his various bands he was in, Pennies for Allah, as well as Last Flight Home. Rusty did and is doing some solo stuff as well. So, but great guy.
Personally, huge influence for me.
Man.
Yeah, throughout my adolescence, musically, following them guys around and watching them jam. Yeah, so, I haven't talked to Rusty in a long time, so I'm super looking forward to hanging out with Rusty.
And I always assumed, like, those guys were, like, all the same age as Marcus, but they're actually even older than Marcus.
Yeah.
And,
wow.
I never even, like, really asked or whatever. I didn't realize how long that they were actually doing stuff, even before Marcus had anything to do with any of them. And it's just like crazy to be able to like pick from that knowledge. I think it's going to be like pretty akin to our conversation with Calvin, and that he had his own trajectory and was very successful and saw a lot of cool things, whether that be down here in this area or traveling up to St. Louis. I know that the Fredericktown contingent traveled up to St. Louis pretty routinely.
Yeah.
People like him and Schulte and Beatty, PQ, all those guys were going, hanging out, traveling together and catching some of these amazing shows and amazing things that have happened in the music scene over the years. So really looking forward to that. So a lot of big things in season 3 ahead. We'll talk about what's left in season 2 on the close today. So we are at the point that we are going to get on to our conversation with Inner City Witches. Stick around after the break.
Just scream when you need to, and I'm sure I'll
got our guests this week, Inner City Witches. We got Addison and Alan. How are you gentlemen doing this evening?
Swell.
I was going to use the word swell. I'm pretty good.
All right, great. We're so happy to have you guys. Now, we were talking off air before we got on tonight, and we first made a connection with you all, Addison in particular, up at the Punk Rock Flea Market earlier this year, and had a chance to check out your guys' music. Became instant fans, wouldn't you say,
Absolutely.
Josh? Happy to be hearing that type of stuff being played by young gentlemen such as yourselves in the St. Louis area too, so doing something a little bit different. But at the same time, I think you guys are touching on some things, at least in my youth, that I was a big fan of musically. So let's talk about how you all got together and kind of what the catalyst was for what is Inner City Witches today.
I guess I kind of just got bored, like at the beginning of COVID. I was like, man, out of high school, time to start a band. So I knew our drummer Aaron loosely. And I was like, that guy seems like he would want to play the type of music you guys, just have heard from us. So, and then Aaron knew Alan, and we got together and played like a Nirvana song, and we kept going from there. Yeah.
Very cool. Now, whenever you say you played a Nirvana song, which Nirvana song was that you played, Addison?
The one in the Batman movie.
There you go.
No, I'm just kidding. It was Soundless Apprentice.
Yeah, that would be kind of funny to be playing that one with the drummer. Yeah, we're going to get together and jam this one for about 3 hours.
Yeah, that would be the weirdest pitch.
Yeah, definitely.
To start a band.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Addison, Alan, how long have you guys been playing your primary instruments? Alan, you play bass, right? How about you?
Yeah. I picked up bass pretty much when we started the band, so like 3 years now. I was primarily a guitar player, and then our drummer Aaron was like, hey, I still want to play music with you. You should just learn bass for this. So I was like, okay. And it worked out pretty well.
The transition to bass?
I'm enjoying
that
it
quite a bit, Alan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fun instrument. It's cool to, I don't know, some songs are pretty fast, so it's all just like with the pick, nothing crazy like slapping, but it's just really fun.
How about for you, Addison?
I was about to say I think Alan's a technically better guitar player than I am anyway. But like I didn't get to like realize that whenever we started the band, because we were jamming like last week, and we were playing like blues stuff, like almost as a joke, and then he just played like some I don't know what it's called. It's like a whammy thing or whatever. I don't know. Alan knows a lot more.
I started playing slide with one of those Pez candy things. You know what I'm talking about?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah. And yeah. No, I've been playing guitar for like 10 years, but at this point I just write songs for Inner City Witches, and that's pretty much it. But yeah.
Do you guys have like any like formal training, or did you guys just like pick things up by ear to start? Like, what was originally brought you guys to guitar?
I guess I always like rock music, from classic rock, 90s, whatever. I don't know. So I wanted to play guitar, so I just picked it up. And then eventually, I did get like formal training. I had like 3 guitar teachers, and then I learned jazz and all this stuff. And I think we all learned jazz at some point before we met each other. And so that really helps. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. That's where the serious players are at, man. Get those jazz chops.
Yeah, no joke.
How about for you, Alan? How did it all start?
Same thing, pretty much. I started lessons when I was like 10, and then had a couple teachers, also got into jazz band, and it really does just boost your chops and learning all the chord shapes and modes and all that.
Right.
Same story as Addison, pretty much.
So whenever you guys first got together and you're kind of jamming Nirvana songs or whatever the case is, I'm sure you probably had some ideas for some songs originally. Would you guys say that, even in those early jam sessions that your music has progressed in a different direction than maybe you even originally conceived? Or how has the songwriting process transpired for you guys?
Dude, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, like, it made me laugh because last week too, my brother brought up. So originally we were called the Suits, and we were writing songs that were kind of like just the most basic, like Mudhoney, like grunge songs. Not that stuff is bad, but it didn't come out the best, and it's kind of funny to listen to now because I was screaming on those recordings, but I couldn't scream at that point, so it sounds so weird now. Yeah, and then we started writing NOIR, and then I was like, I'll write some new songs for the band, but this time I want to take it super seriously. And then we're writing and have written pretty much all of our new stuff, which is miles better than that. So yeah, we always try to keep progressing. We put out NOIR and it's pretty good, but we think our next projects are going to be sweet. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, speaking of NOIR, I really do enjoy that album, and I'm just kind of curious and fascinated sometimes, like with behind the scenes stuff. Did you guys record that yourself? Did you guys go to somebody and record that? How did that come together?
Have you guys ever been to the Lemp Brewery?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or that area? Yeah. So we've always had a room in there.
Okay.
And the I guess landlord building manager for that building, he has a studio that he built in there. And so for NOIR specifically, for not any other project, just NOIR, we went in there for I want to say the entire year of 2022 and recorded that. So that's how we did NOIR. Just it's kind of funny because it's just like in an abandoned building. That's how we recorded NOIR.
That's actually cool. Really awesome. I think it's incredible.
I really enjoy the production of it just because it doesn't sound extremely polished. There's a rawness to it,
right?
And
yes.
I get tired of hearing the same shit, produced the same way with the same fucking filters on stuff or presets. And
yeah, no, we're big on that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed that kind of fresh take on the production piece. But what's old is new again, right?
Right.
And I think that's kind of a lot of what you guys are doing though too, is reimagining some maybe older concepts and making them applicable to you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would say I don't know, just anything Unwound we like a lot.
Yeah.
Refuse we're huge on. But even some bands that are not as I don't know, quote unquote underground, I guess. System of a Down, Deftones. Yeah. Definitely taking stuff that they didn't be okay, we can't do exactly that, but we could take things and make it sound like us.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
As the guy who mixed the album, thank you for enjoying the production. It was the first
nice.
album I ever had
I feel bad.
I
I should have said you mixed it.
Hey man, it's cool.
Wow, nice job.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very cool. Alan, did you go through any schooling for that, or are you kind of self-trained, or how did that come together for you?
I go to school for it now. I'm about to wrap up my degree in August. But when NOIR came out, that was the first full-length album I've ever mixed. So it really leveled me up of having to keep it cohesive and have the same tonal concept throughout the whole thing. Because before that, it was just our first couple EPs, and when we were the Suits, that sounded awful. But I'm really happy NOIR had a nice bump in quality.
Yeah, I really enjoyed your production there, and I think it kind of makes you guys stand out comparatively to a lot of other bands in St. Louis too, and some of the stuff that you're hearing released. Because like a lot of people go to the same places. That's
right.
Kind of like you get caught in that trappings of unintentionally, mind you, but a lot of people are going to places like Encapsulated, or they're going to Ryan Wasaba and recording with him, and you can kind of tell who's producing those albums because a lot of that, whoever's finger touches are on those, sound the same.
Right, you can hear a lot of the same. Yeah, I see what you're saying. You can hear that audio engineer.
Right. So I think that's another thing.
Yeah, and like
put a feather in your guys' cap though to stand out.
Yeah. So, and like in that concept, like there's, besides those studios, right now we're recording in Webster University in their big studio, and not only Alan, but got to give a shout out to our boy Spencer, who is, I guess, what title would you give him? Like an audio engineer for us right now, but he's producing the album at the same time for us too. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of people our age at Webster, wherever else it may be, who are just like they're looking to make an album too. So
sure,
if there's any bands out there who go look at a college or something, yeah, you got a kid like Spencer or Alan who want to do something like that.
And I was just kind of curious too, with you guys kind of growing and emerging in the St. Louis music scene right now, like what are some of your more fond memories to date already of like shows that you've played and artists that you've shared the stage with?
Damn, that's a question. Hey, I like that one. That was a good question.
Yeah.
I know Proto Martyrs.
I want to hear from you first. Yeah. No, we played with Proto Martyr. That's like the only I guess bigger band we've opened for. Yeah. Yep.
Dude, that's a good one. That's a great one.
But still, like the coolest ones were like we call them like the Aiden Flynn basement shows. We had a friend named Aiden Flynn, and we threw shows in his basement, and we recorded the shows.
Cool.
And we didn't mean for the shows to be like ape shit crazy, because that's not like who we are. We're not like we just wanted to like put on the shows in a basement. It was just it's right off like a house right off Delmar. Yeah, but we did 2 of them, and both of them were fucking insane. Like the craziest punk house parties ever. We don't have a house to do that shit at anymore, but yeah, any house show in any state we played at is always the best, for sure.
Yeah, you can't beat that atmosphere of the house show.
Yeah, it's a different
atmosphere
energy.
For sure. A
Right.
basement show atmosphere, very akin to one another.
Right.
How about for you, Alan? Any particular shows or bills stick out to you?
I was gonna say
DC.
I guess I'll say DC. On our recent tour, we finally managed to go to the East Coast, which was really rad, and we played this like dive bar in DC. We were opening for a band called Junkhead. They were like a hardcore outfit. It was their first headlining show, and thankfully the crowd really, really messed with us because they were just moshing so hard. And we brought this like plushy cat and we named him Melvin, and we chucked him in the pit. And they started using him as like a weapon. Like you could just see this cat go airborne, and people are hitting each other with it. It was really fun.
Hell of a party, man.
Well, that too. I wanted to ask you guys about. Have you guys found yourselves like influenced by some of these experiences that you've had going into writing this new music that you guys are producing now? Do you feel like inspired, not only from like your on the road experiences, but the bands that you've shared the stage with too?
I would say if I was inspired by like a band I'm on stage with, usually I'm inspired to like take things from them. Like
sure.
I don't know. We played during the summer. We might have played with them 3 times, maybe only twice. I don't know, but Totally Cashed in Chicago, and the stage presence is insane. So I don't know. I love watching bands like that from out of state or even around here who I'm just like, damn, they definitely, beat everyone on stage presence, and I like to take from that.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know about like because the new stuff we've been writing for so damn long that, I don't know if I have any inspiration from like going on the road and doing that.
There's an element though, like I recall in my like music playing days that even like whenever you would play with other artists or whatever, regardless of like even if they were like the same genre or the type of music that you're trying to play, like it's got this element of, I don't want to say like one-upsmanship, but it's like everybody's like raising their game. You know what I mean? It's like you're inspired to like raise your game.
Definitely. Yeah, another band, Where's the Rum, whenever we play with them or whenever I see them live, because they're kind of like not within the same genre necessarily, which you guys should get them on here. They're really cool. And the music's great. Yeah, they I see them and I'm like, oh, damn, dude, next show we play, I want to, try to one up that or something. Yeah. So, yeah, no, I love that type of stuff for sure. That competitive, like good competitive sort of thing.
Right.
In the scene. Right.
Well, I'm also glad to hear that you guys are like taking note of like people's stage presence and like the importance of that, because it does make a difference whenever you're playing live music and you're trying to attract new listeners and followers.
And it can be a tough thing to establish early on, in a band. I think that was one of the more difficult things for me, is like not being such a statue and interacting, and you know what I mean, take a step away from that.
I mean, it's a natural reaction to be nervous or whatever, but like the thing that always helped me personally get over it was to just think about like what the end goal was, or like the desired result. And the great thing about playing live music is you get that instant gratification, right? And like if what you're doing is being received well immediately,
right?
So it's a very important aspect of it. And I think it can kind of help people kind of get over those nerves too, whenever they focus on that.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I moved like the first year we started playing shows. I would just fucking stand there, dude. I didn't know what to do.
I was the same way, dude. The first couple of shows I ever played, I think one time he was a drummer and I was a vocalist. I think one time I had my back face to the crowd the entire show because I was so nervous to turn around and face him. I just had my foot up on his bass drum.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. No, I've definitely been so nervous, like during the beginning, that my voice like wouldn't work.
Oh, I hear that.
Because just like going into the show, I'm just like, oh, dude, I can't sing for people. Who do I think I am? Prince or something? What the hell? And then I like, but now we're good, and I don't ever want to relive that, because going into a show that nervous sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like a Murphy's Law thing. It's like, once the smallest bad thing happens, it kind of like spirals out of control there too. Like when you're that nervous, like nothing good can come of it,
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, no. And like we've definitely like bombed before. Like no one liked us. Like we played Nashville once.
Got to do a few of those.
Yeah, no. We played Nashville once, or we played it 3 times now, but like the first time we were there, we just got the wackest fucking show, and everyone left. And it was a Saturday night too at a fucking dive bar, and everyone left by and we got on at like 11, and we played 15 minutes, probably only like 12 minutes for like 3 friends we had in the area. And then we just like, hey guys, we're done. Like, we're not doing this. It was so fucking weird.
Yeah, that's strange. Yeah.
Yeah, that
would be hard.
Yeah, no, those type of moments though. Yeah, it gets you over the nerves. That's what I'm saying. Like those types of things. Yeah.
Yeah, I always hated like traveling long distances and then having like just the bands are there. That's happened a few times.
Yeah.
After the first couple times of that happening, I just realized you just make the best of it. You can't control some things, and I know that like our generation, like we're in our late 30s, like a lot of the people that we played with back in the day and like the areas that we traveled, a lot of places got kind of like worn out due to like oversaturation, like too many people playing the same place too many times. Like, is this something that you guys like methodically are trying to like avoid yourselves? Like, I can't play the sinkhole every other, Friday or whatever the case is. Like, do you guys have that in your mind when you're booking shows?
I don't know.
I'm personally like, I mean, because our drummer Aaron lives in Nashville, we're kind of limited to how many shows we can do. But I think there is like a sentiment amongst all three of us to like with each year level up and not try and stay in the same spot. Like our first tour, we kind of just did the Midwest. Second tour, we added the East Coast. You know what I mean? Like small baby steps, but
Yeah.
I don't think we're ever bitter about playing the Sinkhole or like Shamrock more than once in like, you know.
Really the only venue where like, oh, don't play there too much, just out of like a repetition sort of purpose is Shamrock, which I don't know if you guys have been there, but have you been there?
No, I haven't. I have not.
Shamrock
I've never
Club?
seen a show there, I don't think. No.
It's not a punk venue or anything. It's just
It works
it's near
as one,
Busch
though.
Stadium. Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. And
I'm familiar with it.
yeah, there's no yeah, definitely like basement shows, stuff like that where you don't have to like email a booking agent or something. I love that shit. And that's why we love playing Shamrock, because it's like, dude, if I need that show last minute, or if I don't want to deal with the headache of trying to get through like an email to someone, I'll just be like, I'll call the owner of Shamrock, and he will just say yes. I'll know if I get a show immediately, you know. So yeah, definitely we try to play like chiller stuff like that.
Well, you have to play a little bit of everything too to kind of get your name out there too, as well. You know,
take your opportunities, right?
Yeah, you can't be like an elitist and be like, "Oh, I'm not playing this place or that place." But you know, I think
no, we will play. We will play anywhere for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think once more people get to hear you guys, like there's an accessibility to your music though too. Like, you know, I think you got a little bit for everybody. I know online that you guys kind of self-identify as like a post-hardcore, post-punk band, which I can definitely see those influences in the music. But I think you guys got even more than that going on there. Wouldn't you agree?
Dang, yeah. Once we have this new stuff out, we'll have an EP and album. It's definitely going to be a way wider mix of stuff. Even like kind of delving into like actual hardcore, you know.
Okay.
I think you guys kind of dabbled with that with NOIR too. Like,
I don't think it'll be that much of a stretch though, too. At the same time,
right?
Yeah.
Post-hardcore, post-punk.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Just
well, I'm kind of curious, like how the actual songwriting process goes. Addison, are you come up with most of these ideas? Okay. Alan, are you guys bouncing these ideas off of each other? Is it very collaborative? I know, like, you know, with the drummer living in Nashville, it's probably got to be somewhat difficult when it comes to the songwriting piece of it. The two of you probably get together a little bit more routinely, send stuff off to him. How's that all work?
Yeah, for songwriting, the way I view it, it's really like curating Addison's vision. Like he'll kind of present a song to me and Aaron, and we kind of flesh it out, give critiques. I mean, a lot of my creative input comes with like production and recording. Like, oh, I know what Addison wants this to sound like, what mic choices and how many tracks do we lay out to make sure like we're giving people what's in his head the best possible way. And Addison usually lets me like write whatever bass line, and if he's like, you need to follow my riff, I'll be like, say less, you know, I'll do it.
Yeah.
No. I'll essentially, I'll just sit down and like write a shell, you know, like how the song flows. I'll write the lyrics in my part. Usually the one part that doesn't come out the way I think of it in the final product is Aaron's part. So the drums are completely different than what I think usually. I guess like Genghis Khan, that song.
Great song.
I remember. Yeah, thank you. I remember that being so much different. You know, whenever I gave that to Aaron and Alan, than what I thought of it, how it was going to be. So
I really enjoy his drumming choices too. I can speak from that, from like a drummer's, like my primary instrument's drums. Like I really enjoy his drum performances on your guys' recordings as well.
Yeah, they're definitely something else, and that's the best part because like I can write like a guitar part and a bass part, but drums I can sort of write, not as good as guitar and bass for sure.
I mean, once the final product's together and you got everybody's potions mixing in together, it's kind of takes on a new life too, from time to time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. But
so, what are some goals that you guys have as a band, like going forward? Kind of like we talked about leveling up a few different times. Like, what do you guys envision as leveling up? What's your next move?
I guess you could say we want to get signed. I don't know. We have, I guess, 20 songs that are planning to come out through the entirety of 2024. So we have products, and besides that, just play a lot of shows, get our numbers up on the internet too. We want to do a lot more music videos and stuff. So, I guess the internet rules everything. So we'll play by those rules for the best we can for 2024. Make some more content for YouTube, Bandcamp, whatever.
How about for you, Alan? What are
keep
some
it fresh
goalposts for you personally?
Pretty much the same thing as Addison, to be honest. Just keep the grind going, get signed, get these songs that I've had to listen to for hours on end in Pro Tools finally, on Spotify. Yeah, I mean, and just getting more people to listen to it. I mean, I want to do more videos and stuff like that. Like, we're about to start recording album number 2, and I want to make sure, like, I document that. I think it'd be cool to make, like, a little documentary or something by the end of it to kind of upload and just showcase what making it was like.
No, I agree 100%. And a band that actually did that recently that we had on the podcast Spotlights on Ipecac Recordings, they did a whole behind-the-scenes production on this last album they did, and they used it as a part of their marketing materials. And I think it helped them out tremendously for like people's awareness of what was coming down the pipeline from them in general, and like created that excitement and that buzz because they had so many things going on artistically in what they were doing. And it sounds like you guys are like kind of approaching this with a similar ambition, and I think that would work well for you guys if you guys would share some of that material, even if in small doses across social media.
Yeah, I can't remember who I heard it from, but it's like the philosophy of like putting content out there to allow people to be like really into your work, like what like makes like a super fan, you know what I mean? Because it's one thing to listen to your music, but it's another to give someone the opportunity to be like, do you know what microphone they used on the guitars in NOIR? You know what I mean? Like giving someone the opportunity to know that stuff as many ways as possible to get them more involved with you, I think is really important.
Yeah, and it's all a part of that like key engagement with your audience, and you never know like how you're going to capture people sometimes. And I think you guys will capture more people with that type of approach. So I believe you guys had mentioned online that you guys don't have any shows planned for the rest of the year. Is that right? Are you guys just kind of like focusing on recording?
Yeah, because I don't know. We did a lot of we did a lot of shows for this year, and we just finished recording the EP, and now it's in just complete mixing process, and we'll start the album early next year. So we're just kind of winding down because the goal is to exhaust ourselves to death in 2024. So
there you go.
For right now, we'll chill the fuck out.
Kick the beat up. Yep.
Recalibrate.
Yeah.
And it's like the perfect time to do it because it's like holiday season, right? So you can like meet all of those expectations and get the family visits in and all that stuff, and then turn around and churn out some sweet shit.
Yeah, for sure. I cannot wait. Yeah.
Do you guys have anything on the calendar already for like shows next year by chance, or anything we can
actually
talk
do
about
have
there?
One.
Okay.
Man, I want to say it's like May 28th. It's at that. It's at Cooler B&B, that one's like backyard skate park thing. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Yeah.
But we got early access to their show dates, so we took one of them. So
nice.
But we will definitely have a show earlier than May 28th.
Sure.
For sure. Yeah. We just got to get that set up somehow.
Especially if you're going to work yourself to death in 2024, right? You can't be starting in the middle of the year.
Right.
What the hell?
Yeah. But yeah, so hopefully we have like our best spring schedule. The way we see it is like we start like February, do a show or two, and then our singles come out for the EP, and then we do like single shows, right? We do one each Friday they drop or whatever, and then we do like a little weekend tour for the EP dropping. That's at least in my mind, like the best start to the year. And then during that entire time, we are also recording the album, recording music videos, hopefully doing a ton of artwork, a documentary for the album. Yeah, so it's going to be a lot, but at least I think it'll work.
Yeah, I admire the ambition, and I love to hear it.
It sounds a lot scarier when you sum it up that way. But it'll be fine.
Yeah, dude, I'm going to be so stressed and pissed all the time.
Well, fellas, just
sounds like a lot of deadlines.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Take it a day at a time and deal with like whatever issue you got right in front of you in that moment, and then move on to the next thing. Man, don't think too far down the road either. You know, you can get yourself worked up real easy, and you guys are young still, so don't make the same mistakes that people like us did. And you know, have fun, do a little partying, but keep it between the lanes too. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to protect.
Be goal oriented.
Protect that creative thing you got going on there too.
Yeah, and I mean, right now it's just like I think while we're chilling out right now, I'm also doing like a blueprint, like how is this going to work? You know, because all that shit, you know, in 6 months, and then everything gets released. That's going to be a lot, so we'll figure it out for sure. Take it easy, definitely.
Well, you know that we're going to keep our ears to the ground. Anything you guys have coming up in the future, and be sharing that across our social media channels too, to keep our audience engaged and aware of what you guys do. Because we have a policy here on the ATI podcast, and that's every guest that joins our show is now a part of the ATI podcast alum. So we share routine news about bands post them being on, and they're part of our family, and we share a lot of that stuff on whether it's Facebook or Instagram or across various social media platforms. So, gentlemen, we are at the point in the program that I like to get more specific about things that you are personally into, just to get our audience to know you a little bit better and shine your personalities. So we're going to start with Alan. And Alan, I would like to ask you, what is your favorite movie, or you can even punch off a couple movies that have come out, let's say, in the last 5 to 10 years?
Oh, damn.
And while he's toiling over there, Addison, think about what your answer is going to be.
I'm going to say Nope. Nope was really solid. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer was okay.
Masterpiece.
What? Sorry, that was maybe that was a controversial take. Oh, jeez. 5 to 10 years? What about like all time? Could I do like all time?
Go all time if it's easier for you. I'll take it.
Surf's Up. One of the best movies this planet has ever been graced with. It's a mockumentary. It has Shia LaBeouf voicing a penguin. I feel like you don't get that anymore.
No.
I just rewatched it recently, and it's a gift to this world. I think that's Nope and Surf's Up. That's my tier list, I think.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear.
Ooh, actually, I don't know. I got a lot of movies. I watch every movie.
You heard of Surf's Up 2?
Dude, there's a second one? What the fuck?
You cannot. Surf's Up 2. It does exist.
That's like the Bible too. Yeah.
And
it does.
Yes.
I thought that was a joke.
It's real.
It's trying to be.
It's a wrestling version of Surf's Up. They have like John Cena play a lead role.
They go violent.
It's weird. It's bad. It's corporatized. Surfs Up. It's not what it was. I'm very passionate about that. So I'll let you keep going.
Alan and I talked about this not that long ago. Have you ever seen The Thing, like the 80s version?
Yep, absolutely. John Carpenter. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
One of the greatest movies ever.
Insanely good horror movie. No one says a word about it. Upsetting.
Right.
I love that movie so much. I've only seen it like twice, but it's insanely good.
Oh yeah, man. If you ain't got a physical, get one of that one because you'll want that one for the collection. That's
for
that
sure.
question. It's great. You won't regret it.
For sure, yeah. I gotta get. Yeah, I don't know. I love any horror movie. I guess Evil Dead, the originals 1 through 3 or 1 through Army of Darkness, and
right.
But yeah, like I keep up with any horror movie that drops nowadays, that type of stuff. But whatever else too, I like, dramas, corny stuff, whatever. Yeah.
Would you guys say that you have a favorite actor or actress? So somebody that you follow pretty religiously, you're probably going to see anything that they're involved in, whether it's a miniseries or a movie. Is there anybody that you're a huge champion of?
With the Lord as my witness, I will follow whatever Bill Hader does. Bill Hader is definitely up there for me.
I need to finish Barry because it's just fantastic.
Was fantastic.
Barry is phenomenal.
That last
television.
season was
every
episode punched you in the throat. Yeah. Yeah.
I want to say, like, weirdly enough, I don't think about it that much, but I do love him for some reason. Jake Gyllenhaal.
He's a great actor. He's great.
He's a great actor. He just, Donnie Darko, Prisoners.
Yep, Prisoners rules.
Doesn't get much better than that. Enemy, yeah. The one where he's the cop guy or the 911 operator.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? Is that Enemy?
No. That is.
God, I can't remember what it was called.
I don't. Are you thinking? Well, he's also in. Goddamn, what was that train movie from Doug Jones? I think it came out 2011. The guy who did Moon. There was a movie that he did, and I think he was like an Army veteran or something like that. Yeah, that movie was pretty good. Man, I'm a big Jake Gyllenhaal fan as well. He's a great actor.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, anything. That
Sometimes I feel like he takes his roles too seriously, though. I still love it, but like, oh god,
Nightcrawler's great too. Nightcrawler.
That's what I was trying to think.
Yeah, Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler is great.
Yeah, but it's so funny. It's so funny how like he's just like, ooh, I'm this creepy guy. I don't know. The way he acts sometimes just cracks me the fuck up. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like in Donnie Darko too, just like his portrayal of like a 15-year-old is so goofy, but it's so good.
Yeah, it's fantastically goofy.
Well, I think that movie, like a lot of camp is intended with it.
Yeah.
And
absolutely. Yeah, it's
the movies he went on to do as
intended.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a very specific vision with his films, but
right.
Jake Gyllenhaal's a guy that I always pay attention to if he's in something like I'm not like an MMA guy, but he's got like this MMA movie coming out, and he like transformed his body for it.
Dude, that was actually incredible. Yeah, they showed like a 30-day transformation.
I think I might actually watch that because it's Jake Gyllenhaal. Tom Hardy's another guy like that. Like he just gets himself involved in the role.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't go wrong.
Tom Hardy is great too.
Okay, let's get back into the music piece of things, and let's say that your guys' band has the opportunity to open for anyone present day. And why don't you give me a Mount Rushmore of bands that would be like on your bucket list to play with? So that's 4 people, 4 different bands, artists, projects, whatever. Doesn't matter. I don't care if it's the same type of music you guys play. It's like, it would be amazing to play with these guys. Who's on your list? You guys can give your own too.
Something like that, Alan. Have you thought about that? Like,
I've thought about that, dog. I want to play with. Oh man, I totally said that, and then I can't even. Shame. I want to play with Shame really bad. Idols.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Turnstile.
Idols.
King Gizzard. I know that wouldn't really work, but I think that'd be really
No,
funny.
I think that could work for you guys. I think that could work.
Yeah. I think
specifically if they played Infest the Rat's Nest in full and we opened for that would be pretty rad.
For sure. Dude, like I would say on the same line of what Alan's saying, but just like any of like the newer like alternative rock, you know, or hardcore bands, newer punk bands that are coming out. I would love to open for them. As far as older bands go, I don't know, because like when we opened for Protomortar, I still am, but I've since high school I've been a huge Protomortar fan. So it's like I get in the room with them and I'm just like, dude, I can't talk to you. I'm too much of a fan. I don't know what to say. And that's kind of like a wake up call. Like, damn, this it's kind of hard to like talk to someone, you know, whose music you like that much.
Well, you kind of like get inside your own head. You're like, well, what am I going to tell them?
Yeah, for
they
sure.
haven't heard a million times, and like, what if I say the wrong thing?
Yeah,
and, you know,
absolutely.
You know, that's what I always think.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if they're just like, yo, this kid sucks, dude? Honestly, like System of a Down, like a band that like it would kind of work if we opened for them. System of a Down for sure.
Okay.
That's my pick.
Do you think Viagra Boys would work? I love them. I think we could that would be a pretty fun bill.
Definitely would work. And that goes within like the newer bands, the newer rock bands that
well, I mean, like they just opened for Queens of the Stone Age on their tour on some dates. I'm pretty confident. Yeah.
I saw them live recently. That was wild.
And let's say that you guys are booking, like fantasy booking your own festival. And we're going to go the Mount Rushmore route again. Like, what are 4 acts that are going to headline a festival that you guys are booking as fans? So, we'll start with you, Alan. What's 4 acts that you would need to be on a festival together?
I'm going to say the first one, The Strokes, Wolfpack, Black Midi, and then Silk Sonic. Those are like my 4 headliners.
Nice. I like the variety.
Thank you.
Solid.
That Silk Sonic album's fantastic too. I really enjoyed it last year.
Oh, it's incredible. The production on it is mind-blowing.
Oh, it's crazy good. Yeah. I'm a big Anderson .Paak fan in general. For that matter, I think Bruno Mars is very talented too. But
dude, Ventura, Anderson .Paak. Oh my god, that's one of my favorite albums ever.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Talk about a talented dude, man, who can do it all too. He's insane.
I always thought we could bring back Woodstock and do it good this time. Just for one time in the history of forever, we could do a good Woodstock that nothing goes wrong.
Famous last one.
Nothing.
Yeah. You're saying it's going to be the last one. Something terrible is going to happen. You know, some ass.
No, dude, we just got to do one, and then it's going to be good. Like, no one gets their feelings hurt or anything.
So you're going to put Limp Bizkit on there,
so,
right? You're going to put Limp Bizkit on there.
Oh, yeah.
No, dude, I also saw Limp Bizkit live in September. That sucked.
Oh, really? That sucks.
Yeah, they were just kind of like I don't know. They didn't seem to like care as much. Like, you know.
Yeah, I was going to say they've kind of like become an act of themselves.
No, he wasn't dressed as a cowboy. He was like dressed in a wig or something. I don't know. I can't exactly remember. It might have been a cowboy, but yeah. I mean, he was causing ruckus. Yeah, but no, I would headline like Radiohead or something for like a Woodstock festival. You know?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
like Jack White or something. I've been to like, I don't know. I haven't been to many festivals, but really only like metal and punk ones. I'd love to something chill, you know?
Yeah.
Like
nothing wrong with the change of pace.
That's my answer. I don't know.
Okay.
Bring back Woodstock. That's all I gotta say, dude. With Radiohead, yeah, just Woodstock with Radiohead, I think we can make $1 billion off this.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm sure you could make a good chunk of change without question. Radiohead's one of those bands that have just reached a special echelon. You know, they are liked by the masses. They are liked by niche fans. They got kind of their own cult behind them, their fan base. A band that I've always loved and has transformed their sound over the years as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've been a huge Radiohead fan forever, so
just out of curiosity, what's your
a lot.
favorite album, would you say?
After many listens to all of them, my number one spot goes to Kid A.
You know, I can't shy away at that. For me, it's always going to be the Bends, which doesn't sound like anything that they do anymore. But, you know, there's so many tracks on that album that spoke to me whenever I first heard them, and they still like have the same power today. So that will always be my. And in fact, it might even be like a desert island album for me. Would be Radiohead's.
Damn,
it's that potent for me.
Yeah, no, I go back to that one all the time, and I would say like out of all if you want to call the Bends, I guess Britpop,
right?
I would say the Bends is the best Britpop album.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it could be considered that, or at least adjacent. Yeah, without question.
Yeah, although, for sure.
You know, I do love me some Oasis too.
Oh yeah,
I like those guys. Like pre.
I've never been a huge Oasis guy.
Man.
I do like some songs though.
Yeah,
but
they're a band whose B-sides, again, there's a lot more rich material on the B-sides. So let's say you've got like an indefinite pocketbook, and there's like a dream piece of gear out there, like the Holy Grail. Whether that's like from an audio engineering perspective, or it's a particular instrument, or if it was like owned by a musician that you like what would that item be for you?
Dude, I love gear, so that's like one of the best questions I've ever received in my life. Probably, if I could steal it, Dave Grohl's Neve console from Sound City.
Hell yeah.
That one would.
I love that.
I feel like that's a staple for a lot of. Yeah. Thank you.
Love that. Yeah, that would definitely be on a short list for me as well, because you know that's something I kind of dabble with, as well as just audio engineering, stuff like that. You know, do a lot of that for the podcast and recorded my own demos and stuff as well. So yeah, that's one of those like sciences that I feel like you never stop learning, is audio engineering.
Yeah, man. Like I'm interning at a studio right now, and the chief engineer, you know, I've been like learning from him. And even still, you know, he's like the head honcho of the whole place, but even he's still learning new mic techniques and using new plugins every day. And it's like, there's no speed running to the top of audio engineering. It's like, you got to just play the long game and learn bit by bit.
I would say I'm really into pedals, yet I'm lucky enough to have acquired all the ones I love right now. But if someone was just like, or if I got a treasure map to like the sickest pedal board ever, I would be very happy with that. Or, you know what? Honestly, delay pedals. I love delay pedals.
Right.
More than anything. Yeah. So
there's so many different ones out there, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I love playing with them, dude. They're such a instrument within themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
They sure can be.
The amount of feedback that is on the new stuff from his delay pedals is an absurd amount. It's really good, though. No. Really good. I want to make that clear.
Yeah, no, the new stuff is just all delay.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm just hitting the delay pedal all the time on the new recordings. So that's going to be all over, you know.
Have you seen like the new Kevin Shields pedal, the Fender Blender one, Addison, that they put out? Kevin Shields from My Bloody Valentine?
No, I have not.
Oh man, you gotta check that out. I think you would. You might have a little fun with that if you ever get your hands on it. I don't know if any like stores around here are going to have it anytime soon. They originally started with a prototype, and like it became like a desired, like treasured item for a while. So it wasn't like the full like presentation as to what it's going to be today. So, but yeah, that's something that they brought back, Fender, and like with his curation, like half the times he doesn't even know what fucking sounds he got because he did so much like layering of pedals on top of pedals on pedals and shit. Like if you listen to My Bloody Valentine, it's just like a fucking wall of sound anyways, you know? So it's kind of like hard to pick out like what they might be using. Like you can get an idea, you can get close, but you're never going to get that down to a science.
Right, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. I mean, we have one song. It's going to be the last track on the EP that the chorus is, I'm just doing that exact same thing. It's just hit the delay, make it go crazy, then do another, I don't know if we did 2 layers of just wall of sound delay. I love that type of stuff for sure.
Oh, yeah. You can get lost in the sauce real quick with that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, you guys have been very giving with your time, and we really appreciate it. Let's round out the conversation with telling the good folks of the ATI Podcast audience where they can stay in touch with you guys, everything you guys got going on. What's the best place to follow you all as well as listen to your music?
You can find us best on Instagram. You can even honestly just Google us because we are the only inner city witches that exist, as far as we know, in the entire world. So you can just Google us and find every single thing about us.
That's a rare
right
feat.
there.
That
Good
is
job
a very
on the
rare
name.
feat.
I mean, like you're not going to find personal stuff, you know. You're not going to find my bedtime, but like you're going to find our
Blood
Instagram
type,
or Spotify.
Social security number.
Yeah, passwords. I don't know.
Blood type.
Flashing on the screen now.
No, dude. Inner City Witches on Instagram, Inner City Witches on Spotify. There's no numbers, underscores attached. You'll find us. Yeah.
On the way out,
cool.
Out of curiosity, with the fact that you guys came up with such a unique name, how did you guys come up with the name of Inner City Witches, might I ask real quick?
I think I was just like, or not even just me, but all of us just come up with a name, throw it in the group chat. Yes, vote on it. We probably went through like 100 until it came to Inner City Witches, and I can't remember why we liked it so much.
I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, like I
Thank you.
never forgot the name. Like once you told it to me, because it just was like, man, that's unique. I had to take note of that one.
Yeah,
yeah. I think a big part of it is Inner City Witches. It's just like it's like Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah,
it just has that like syllable rhythm to it that you just remember it or something. I don't know. And
I agree.
I think besides maybe my parents, everyone, I've showed the band to is like, this name's sick, and I'm like, oh, thanks. So it works.
Well, what's your parents'
It has the people's vote. I don't know. Just
they think you're gonna like raise the cat.
If I remember right, Addison walked upstairs from the store he told me, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, we changed it to the name to Inner City Witches." And his dad looks at me and goes, "Why?" And then that was it. They weren't really impressed, but
that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think they wanted the Suits to stick around, and I'm like, again, if our name was still the Suits, no one would be able to just Google us and find us at the front.
Right? No.
Yeah. We have to play the internet. So
yeah,
smart.
Well, I just think it's a better name, like Inner City Witches as well. It's got that ring to it, like you said. It's got like a amnic pentameter to it, like the rhythm to the syllables of the words, and it just kind of like bounces along in your brain and
fits your sound too. I think.
Also,
yeah, definitely.
Boom.
More
yeah,
so.
I think if we were still the Suits, our music wouldn't make that much sense to the name anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So Inner City Witches sounds a lot more like what we're making. So yeah.
Well, Addison and Alan, Inner City Witches, they're conjuring up some shit, is what we're trying to say here tonight. And you guys need to be checking them out, all right? all for sticking around after the break. We want to thank Inner City Witches for joining the call today. We really appreciate their time. And again, just happy to get back to some St. Louis love. We're on a good run here. Josh right now. We, of course, had the Disappeared. We had Jason Hebb on from No Point. And, of course, we have Inner City Witches this week.
Yeah, great dudes, and I like to keep it in the show me state, like we keep talking about, like the St. Louis love and the Missouri love, like to keep that going. So, yeah, great dudes. We really appreciate their time, and yeah, man, they have a lot of good, really great music. Check out their new album. Check them out. Support them.
Yeah, available on all streaming platforms as well.
Find it everywhere.
I know these guys are on Bandcamp. They're on Apple Music. I know, Josh, you frequent that. I frequent Spotify. They're on there as well. And make sure that you guys give these guys some love. Follow them. Stay in tune with what they got going on. See what shows they got coming in 2024 and big things on the horizon. And just really looking forward to seeing what they do next.
Yeah, they're on the up and up, so watch them climb.
100%. So, of course, this is episode 99. Next episode will be episode 100. And we are welcoming back Brian Jones to the program. My friend Jesus Rose.
Hey, I thought it was Jesus Rose. My bad.
Jesus. Why don't you try that one on?
Like, what's up, Jesus?
Yeah. So we've got some surprises in store. We're going to have a guest appearance amidst the conversation with Brian. A nice little surprise for him that he doesn't know that's in store. So if you hear this in advance, Brian, act like it was a surprise. So, anywho, we've got Ridge and Jake Jackson. They've got a new episode that they did for Record Store Day. They did a stream back on Black Friday for that Record Store Day 2 this year. And so they've got some picks that they made. Whenever we go to do episode 1, it's going to be kind of like a medley of episodes. So we're going to have our stuff with Brian on there. That's going to be the main event. We're going to have Ridge and Jake Jackson's segment for Record Store Day on there. And then Brandon's conducting a live interview this weekend for Ed Oz in Knobnard's Closet. And we'll be adding that as well. So everybody gets like a nice smorgasbord of like what we got going on the podcast network, doing what we do and kind of infusing the multiple things that we've done over the history of this show. And that's, the camaraderie of all of us to be on display.
Yeah, I think
and have fun. Good times and hang out with good people.
Yeah, I think people will enjoy it. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I think we'll have a good time.
So, and then of course we're going to be like transitioning over into our year-end lists after we speak with James Dean, director, something that's coming together here at the last minute for Triple Xmas episode 101. And we'll have more information as we get closer to that chat and where to catch it and when. And I mentioned the year-end lists. That's how we like to cap off our year. We're going to talk about our favorite films, favorite TV shows, favorite movies of the year. So looking forward to those discussions.
There's been so much this year.
I know.
So much TV.
Yeah, and there's still like some to come.
Right.
Somewhat.
Right. Yeah.
Just started Fargo, and man, that's climbing up the ranks for me already. This new season of Fargo's got John Hamm as a sheriff with pierced nipples. Yes, I said it. A sheriff with pierced nipples, John Hamm.
You know what? I applaud you, John Hamm.
Yes.
I applaud you,
Joe
sir.
Keery's in it from Stranger Things, Steve.
Oh.
He plays John Hamm's son in this.
Oh,
and
man.
He's such a D-bag. And it's so great.
It's perfect.
It's so great.
It's perfect.
Yeah, and Jennifer Jason Leigh, one of my favorite actresses of all time, is quite the interesting, like, oil tycoon type lady as well. So, and it's funny to see her play something like that because it's kind of out of her wheelhouse of how she's normally typecasted. So,
right.
Yeah, this new season of Fargo is rocking right now. And I can't recommend that enough, but we'll talk about that more, probably.
Yeah.
Here
I
at the
might have
end
to get
of
into that one. I've never watched Fargo, so I might have to dive into that one.
Oh, you'd enjoy it. Yeah, I can't recommend that show enough, and, shows that you'll probably find out about on those episodes. That's why it's good to listen to those episodes, because we got little nuggets for people sometimes.
Yeah, you find a nice little gem buried in there.
Yeah, and I know you've been a little bit buried more so this year, kind of like in the Star Wars universe, and so you'll be able to elaborate on some of that probably when it comes time.
It's so deep and so good. They're really pulling the story all in together.
I feel like there's a joke there somewhere.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But no, they gave Dave Filoni the keys of the kingdom. I finally read Kathleen, whatever her name was, Kennedy or whatever her name is that runs it. She pretty much announced that Dave Filoni has got free creative reign over the next several projects. So him and Favreau, how you say that?
Yeah, Jon Favreau.
Are going to just have the keys to the castle for Star Wars, and I couldn't be more excited because I think they're doing great things.
So guys, you know where to find us. We are at the ATI Podcast on Instagram. We, of course, have a presence on all social media sites. We have TikTok. We have X, formerly known as Twitter. We have Facebook, and we have a Facebook group as well. So follow us there to stay in tune with what we got going on. be sure to subscribe to us as well, especially on things like Apple Podcasts, Spotify. That really helps us. Of course, we'll always encourage you to subscribe to us on YouTube as well.
Yeah, and drop a like. If you enjoyed the episodes, drop a like on the video. It helps us get our videos out to more people. It helps the algorithms.
100%. Yep. We got to get those likes for people to watch us. And, we are always very appreciative of our listeners and everything that they do for us. We, of course, can't encourage you enough to rate us again across those audio platforms earlier. We mentioned leave us a 5-star rating if you like us. That helps us get potential sponsors and opportunities in the future. And we, of course, will always keep on trucking and earn that 5-star rating for you guys. And we really appreciate everything that you do. We actually had our Wrapped hit this year, so I'll be posting that for the podcast here on social media in the coming days as well. Again, with another thank you to everybody. It's really cool to see how much our podcast has grown. We actually gained, I think it was something like 77% of our overall listeners in just this year alone. So that's amazing, a lot of growth for us this year. Things are always trending upward, and that's what we like to see.
And that's because of you guys, so thank you.
And we're getting a lot of interactions and screen time across the various podcasting platforms as well. So we're very, very much appreciating that and recommending us to your friends. And what's funny is, it seems that our listeners like comedy. They like true crime.
Yeah.
And they like music.
Yeah. So that's perfect. I think we've been hitting that heads.
That we talk about quite a bit. Yeah. So
I'm obsessed with the true crime, even at home. So
yeah, our listeners ranked in their top 3 interests across other podcast listens were those 3 categories. And well, I'll be damned if we don't do all those things.
Hell yeah.
Plus more, right?
Yeah. Drawing them in.
So we're always going to be bringing you guys that variety. I am at Barry Insane on Instagram and Twitter. He's Josh_Joshua Welsh on Instagram. And we are out of time. Until next time, good night and good luck.
Stay safe out there.
Now you're here, there ain't no leaving. Whoa! Don't it make you wonder? Whoa! Wanna conquer it?
Hey, this is Josh from ATI Podcast. For show updates and news about the podcast, follow us on social media. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/ATI Podcast 22, on Twitter at podcast_ATI, on Instagram at the ATI Podcast, on TikTok at ATI Podcast. DMs are always welcome. Have a question for the show? You can always email us at atipodcastquestions@gmail.com. Stay safe out there.
This is Barrett from the ATI Podcast. Each week, Josh and I discuss current events, pop culture, music, TV, movies, politics, sports. Nothing is out of bounds. You can also tune in to learn about rising artists, small businesses. Whether it's music, graphic design, filmmaking, or even a brick-and-mortar mom-and-pop shop, we will be spotlighting folks and their endeavors. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Anchor, or anywhere you enjoy your podcasts. Just search ATI Podcast. We would like to thank you for your continued support, and as always, please stay safe out there.